There are new concerns this morning about popular heartburn drugs and a chemical linked to cancer. The initial findings last September spurred a partial voluntary recall of Zantac and its generic versions taken by an estimated 2 million Americans. First on CBS This Morning, Dr. Jon LaPook has a look inside the lab that has uncovered the latest concerning findings. He's been following this story. John, what have you learned?
Anthony, in September, the FDA alerted the public to a problem with the popular heartburn drug ranitidine, which is the generic form of Zantac. Testing showed that samples had unacceptable levels of the chemical NDMA, which the World Health Organization calls a probable human carcinogen. That led to voluntary recalls and an FDA investigation to find out why. Now, a team in California is also working on an answer.
At Emory Pharma in California, chemist Ron Najafi has been trying to figure out why FDA testing revealed some batches of ranitidine had unacceptable levels of NDMA, a chemical linked to cancer. Now, he thinks his team may have found a clue.
What we found out was that NDMA is being generated as a result of heating of ranitidine.
Najafi's lab looked at the effect of heat on the drug over 12 days. At room temperature, a standard dose of ranitidine rose to 25 nanograms of NDMA, below the FDA daily acceptable limit of 96. But when ranitidine was heated to 158 degrees, the level rose to 142 nanograms.
So if someone were to keep their ranitidine Zantac in their car, for example, and in the middle of summertime, that product is going to get heated up. And it's going to generate this compound. So NDMA in this case, John, is not an impurity in the drug. It's being formed from the drug itself.
Najafi is concerned about possible prolonged heat exposure during transport from the manufacturing plant, which could be an ocean away from store shelves. He's now serving as an expert witness for plaintiffs in litigation involving NDMA. Najafi's lab submitted its findings to the FDA last week and in a petition asked the agency to request a recall of all ranitidine products, require the medicine be shipped under controlled temperatures, and order further testing to assess stability. Dr. Janet Woodcock heads up drug evaluation and research at the FDA.
It does appear when ranitidine is heated significantly that there is conversion into some NDMA can form. However, these are pretty high temperatures. So the question about whether ranitidine would need to be kept cold to keep it from converting is something that still hasn't been answered.
Dr. Woodcock said the FDA is still investigating why some batches of ranitidine contained higher levels of NDMA than others.
For most of these contaminants that we're talking about, the level of NDMA or other nitrosamines in there is not much more than you might get in your ordinary daily diet, especially if you ate a lot of meat.
Since the recall is voluntary, the FDA says there still may be some ranitidine product on store shelves. Sanofi tells CBS News testing of its brand name Zantac products is ongoing, and for now it has pulled the medication from store shelves. Many companies selling generic forms of the pill have done the same. As for the source of the NDMA, Dr. Woodcock told me that the investigation is ongoing, and they're looking at a new angle, which is the possibility that perhaps when you take a ranitidine pill, even if it's 100% pure, zero NDMA in it, right, somehow inside your body it gets converted into NDMA.
Well, that's a source of heat too, maybe, your own
and
stomach.
Enzymes and acid and all sorts of metabolic.
This drug's been on the market for a long time, John.
1983.
Yeah. Do people have to worry if they've been taking it?
That's the big million-dollar question, billion-dollar question, right? The question people want to know is, and I've prescribed it as a gastroenterologist for many decades, are you at increased risk of getting cancer if you took ranitidine? That is a tough question to answer. The investigation is very vigorous and ongoing, and we're going to just have to wait. For now, hold your horses and wait for the data.
Yeah, but it struck me when they said about trucks. Truckers always say anything in your life, chances are it got there at some point on a truck.
Yeah.
I'm thinking trucks can get pretty hot, John.
Yeah, and that's the question. Should there be a cold chain so that when it comes from across the country or across the world, that has to be shipped in refrigeration? We don't know that.
Same truck as the ice cream that you take the heartburn medication for in the first place. John, thank you very much.